qualities of a winner. What was quality number 1?
Positive self-awareness.
Positive self-awareness. What was number 2?
Positive self-esteem.
Positive self-esteem. What was number 3?
Positive self-control.
Good. What number 4?
Positive self-motivation.
Number 5?
Positive self-acceptance.
Number 6?
Positive self-image.
Number 7?
Positive self-direction.
Number 8?
Positive self-discipline.
9?
Positive self-dimension.
And number 10?
Positive self-protection.
Projection. Very good. So that's what we're talking about today. Good job, Destiny. We're talking about positive self-projection. So the antonyms of positive self-projection, what did we say antonyms are? What are antonyms?
Opposite.
Are they the same or are they the opposite?
Opposite.
Yeah, so the antonyms are aloof, unfriendly, and unkempt. All right, synonyms. Synonyms mean almost the same thing. It means personable, supportive, and impressive. Okay, so the loser's self-talk for self-projection would be, don't confuse me with facts, my mind's made up. Winner's self-talk would be, tell me more of your needs. The proverb for this chapter is, how you walk, talk, listen, and look is you. So self-projection, think about that. Projection is projecting yourself. That's what it is, how you project yourself. So do you seem friendly? Do you seem approachable? Do you seem confident? Do you seem charismatic is one word that sticks into my head. Winners, leaders, very successful individuals usually are very charismatic. Who knows what charismatic means? Somebody has a lot of charisma. What does that mean?
People are automatically drawn to you and want to be around you and want to listen to you and possibly even do what you say.
Yeah. Everything Miss Nicole just said is exactly on. And one thing I remember, I think is when we were reading the 21 Laws, we were talking about being charismatic. And one thing that it said that really stuck in my head is that when people are charismatic, they make other people around them feel good. And that was something I never really thought about with charisma before, but it's very true. If you raise your hand if you've ever met somebody who is very charismatic, who you just like, you saw them across the room and they were so energetic and exciting, and you could tell the people around them were smiling and you wanted to be around them or you wanted to talk to them more. Raise your hand if you've ever met somebody that was really charismatic. Everybody probably has at least one person in your life that really was like, wow. A lot of instructors are like that. Most instructors are very charismatic. All right. Luca, please make sure you're not drawing on the screen. Okay, it's one of my pet peeves. Anger triggers, you guys. Okay, so being charismatic. Now, if somebody walks in a room and they look like they just rolled out of bed, they didn't do their hair, they're dressed in a very sloppy way, things like that, a lot of times they're not as approachable. You think, oh, maybe this person's having a bad day or they're disorganized or whatever. And now I'm not saying that we should make judgments about people and the way they dress, the way they look, the whatever, but I'm saying that naturally that's what we as humans do. I took a psychology class when I was in college, and I remember, I still remember it, a research study about more attractive people, people treat them differently. Basically was the sum of this chapter. Now, that doesn't mean somebody who is, looks like a model, but it's somebody who presents themselves in the right way, who dresses the part, who stands the part, who acts the part, who walks the part, that kind of thing. So no matter what you look like, you can present yourself in a way that is approachable and that people are like, wow, they're good looking. That doesn't mean, like I said, picturesque model looking, but that means that you look like you are together, like you're organized, like you're prepared, like you care about yourself, like you have positive self-esteem and things like that. All right. So the success formula that the author talks about in this chapter, there are a couple. Conceive plus believe equals achieve. And I think, who is it? Tony Robbins is the one who says that if you can conceive it and you can believe it, you can achieve it. I think it's Tony Robbins, maybe not, but we've talked about that quote a lot. The other one is visualize and internalize equals realize. So if you can envision it, if you can picture it happening, like picturing yourself reaching black belt, and you can internalize it, you can genuinely believe in it to your core, then you can realize it. You can make it happen. All right. And the last one, imagination plus simulation equals realization, which is really similar. All of these are kind of the same. It's the same concept in each one, right? Conceive it means you can understand it. Believe it means that you genuinely believe it. And then achieving it, making it happen. Visualizing it means that you can picture it. Same thing as conceive, same thing as imagining it. You can internalize it, which means, like I said, you can believe it in your core, or you can simulate it. You can create it in your mind, and then realizing it, making it happen. Okay. Positive self-projection. So winning black belts project their best selves every day in the way that they look, talk, listen, and react. Winners communicate immediate impressions of happiness and success at all times. I think this is so true. I think this is so true. I think I talked to you guys, I told you guys this. I don't know what book we were reading when I talked about this, but I had a teacher in high school who would give us extra credit if we dressed up in business professional clothing on testing days. And why do you guys think that she did that? Benjamin, why do you think that she did that?
So you can look like you're actually caring about what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, okay. Because if you put yourself in a position like that, where you are dressed up and you feel like you look really good and you prepared for the day, you cared about the day, you completely just changed your mindset for the whole day. The entire rest of the day, you are feeling confident. You have high self-esteem. You feel prepared. You feel together. You feel organized. You just change your entire set for the rest of the day. If you, we talked about this before too. Who has ever had a day where they did not feel like getting ready? They rolled out of bed, they threw up their hair, they wore a baggy shirt and sweatpants or whatever it was, but they had a day where they just didn't care. What happened the whole rest of the day? That kind of attitude stays with you. The way that you present yourself changes the way that you see yourself and the way you are going to achieve. Okay. Now, who has ever had a day where they wake up and they're like, you know what? I'm going to put my favorite outfit on today. I'm going to do my hair and then my favorite hairstyle. I'm going to wear my favorite shoes. And then you put it all on. You're like, I look great. I feel great. I picked my outfit out the night before, whatever it might be. But who's ever done that before? And how do you feel the rest of the day? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Usually thumb is way up, right? If you're looking your best and you're feeling your best, no matter what bad things happen to you, you're like, yeah, but it's okay. And you just have this attitude the whole rest of the day. And we want to carry that over in our entire lives, not just each day. So every minute of every day, but then doing that every day of our lives. So black belts do that. Black belts, we talk about black belt excellence all the time. Black belts have leadership. They have confidence. They are assertive. All of those things, that's how they present themselves. That's how they talk. That's how they look. That's how they walk. All of those things. That's how they react. Black belts have the self-control and self-discipline, respect, empathy to be able to react in a positive way, right? I have seen black belts. I know I've done it where I've had somebody yelling in my face, saying mean things to me. And you have the self-control and the discipline to be able to just let it go, right? And that's what black belts do. That's what winners do. Okay. Winners communicate immediate impressions of happiness and success all the time. I wanted to say that one more time because I think that's really true. If you are presenting yourself as successful, a leader, confident, respectful, when you dress yourself that way, that's how you're going to feel on the inside, right? So obviously you can't dress yourself in happiness. You can't dress yourself in success, but those are the things that you do, the things that you say, the actions you take every day. That's how you're presenting yourself. You're projecting yourself. So when you project happiness and success, that goes into your mind. Just like on testing day when I was 15 years old and my teacher would make me wear a blazer and a dress and heels, I projected myself as successful and confident and organized and together, right? And that's how your mental state's going to change. So when we project ourselves as happy, and that even this is a little bit off topic, but there are like, I don't know, 20 something or 50 something muscles you use when you smile. And those muscles release different hormones that make you happy. So if you're not happy and you smile, if you smile and you hold a smile for 10 seconds, it's going to make you happier. I remember when we first learned this when I was about 17, I was an instructor, and me and the other instructors read this somewhere. And so it was kind of like a joke, but if anyone was ever having a bad day or something bad happened, we're like, just smile for 10 seconds and you kind of look like a crazy person smiling, but really you feel it. Everybody do it. Put on your biggest smile for 10 seconds. Good job. Okay. And it makes you want to keep smiling, right? Okay. So winners in life are walking examples of positive self-projection. You can always spot a winner when they enter a room. Who has ever seen that happen? Somebody walks in and their aura, their presence, the charisma that they have is radiating. It's magnetic. Who's ever seen that? Had somebody walk in a room and you instantly are like, oh, that's an exciting person to be around. They look like fun, or whatever it is. Winners are naturally open and friendly. This is another big one. It goes along with charisma and everything else we just talked about. If somebody walks into a room, no matter how exciting and fun they seem, if their body language is closed off, if they aren't looking at you, if they're not open and friendly to you, you don't feel that towards them. Okay, they know that a smile is the universal language that opens doors and melts defenses. And it saves 1,000 words. You can communicate so much more with one smile than you can with a whole lot of words. Okay, so positive self-projection. Winners are aware that first impressions are powerful and create lasting attitudes. They understand that interpersonal relationships can be won or lost in about the first 4 minutes of conversation. And that's so true. I don't know if anyone else has ever thought about that, but if you think about somebody in your life and you're like, that first time you met, what if that went differently? What if, everything, your entire course of your relationship with them, whether it is a spouse or a friend or whatever it is, would be very different if those first few minutes of you guys meeting went differently. Okay, winners also respect the fact that we as people usually project on the outside how we feel about ourselves on the inside. And I personally think that's something that goes like it's vice versa. So what we're feeling on the inside is projected on the outside, but what we project on the outside is what we're feeling on the inside. So you can control it on either side. If your feelings are really strong inside, project it and let it be known, show it to other people, share it with other people. If you're feeling bad on the inside, but you start projecting, you take self-control and you take action and you're proactive and you project happiness, then you'll start to feel that end result. I know anyone who's ever taught a class knows that. Sometimes you're having a bad day, but when you teach a class, the instructors, they're all very well trained in this and they understand this. They know that whatever they're feeling, the students will start feeling. And so they know they want to share happiness and excitement and energy. So no matter how bad their day is, they start projecting that as they're teaching. And then after their first class, they start feeling really good. Who has ever had that as an instructor? Every instructor, yeah. All right, so studies have shown that the definite correlation between looking good and success in life. And I mentioned this earlier, but that term good looking, as we use it, is not meaning beautiful or handsome or looking like a model or a movie star, but it means that they are happy and that they're satisfied and that they're I mentioned it earlier, but like organized together, all of the things that you see when you see somebody who looks really well dressed or whatever. Okay. All right, in today's cosmetic, this is a quote out of the book. In today's cosmetic society, there is a real need for rational values when we consider the true meaning of positive self-esteem. We seem to be good at taking a good thing, which is doing the best with what we've got, and going overboard with excessive self-adoration and self-indulgence in an attempt to buy the fountain of youth and superficial happiness. We know, of course, that the kind of house, car, clothing, and possessions we show off to the world represent our attempt to tell others who we are. What do you guys think that means? Who can summarize that? You know, it's written by the author. It's written at a pretty high level. Who can summarize that in your own words?
I'll try here. I think this, I mean, he published this book, what was it? I think in the 70s, maybe the 80s, but his quote is still completely true today in 2020, that I think a lot of people have low self-esteem and low self-image, though maybe they can't admit that possibly, because then of course you'd fix it if you could admit it. And as such, they're trying to fix that low self-esteem and image through all these material possessions that look really cool. I have the coolest clothes, the coolest fashions, the coolest car, or whatever. And now, of course, technology, and show it off to everyone, which must mean I'm super awesome. But on the inside, you're kind of failing on the inside. And you're trying to project the opposite on the outside.
Yeah, good. That's exactly right. And there's a difference. We've been talking about, positive self-projection is projecting your best self. So you want to look nice, but if you have a very nice shirt or a very nice dress on, you have to really make sure you're doing it for yourself and not for other people. And try to be self-aware of that, because if you start buying expensive things, especially buying things you cannot afford, that's the biggest one. Is a lot of people who do this. I know a lot of people my age who will have a really, really nice car, and I'm like, whoa, I don't know how you're affording that car. But that's because they are not able to buy a house because they're choosing to buy the car. They are in credit card debt because they choose to have this car. And a lot of times the reason they want that car isn't for themselves, it's to show it off to other people. And there's a very big difference, and it will have a negative effect on your self-esteem if you're doing things like for other people and for your self-image. So there is a difference in projecting positive self-projection and projecting a false self-image. Okay, active listening. So winners learn the art of projecting themselves through active listening. Once they introduce themselves, they become listeners. They know that listeners learn a great deal while talkers learn nothing. Winners ask questions. They draw the other person out. They ask for examples. They ask others to put it in other words, and they feed back what others have just said to clarify for understanding. Winners know that paying value to others is the greatest communication skill of all. So I mentioned being charismatic earlier. And a lot of people raised their hand and said they've met somebody who's charismatic. Think about a conversation you've had with that person. This is the biggest, this is what I was trying to say earlier. And it's kind of hard. It was a concept that really, like, when I grasped it about charisma, it kind of blew my mind, because I was like, I've been looking at charisma wrong the whole time. When someone is very charismatic, think about the most charismatic person that you know, and think about every time you see them, every conversation with them that you have. What they do is they instantly devote all of their attention to you, or at least it feels like it, right? It feels like they put all of their attention on you, and all that they care about is your life and what's going on. And they're saying things that make you feel good. They're complimenting you. They're helping you. That is what we're talking about with positive self-projection here. It's when you are forming relationships with other people, communicating with other people, you're putting them first, and you're listening to them and understanding them. And then they want to be around you. They want to converse with you. They feel really good when they're around you. Okay, so active listening is hearing the content, listening for feeling, observing body language, having a neutral technique, paraphrasing, having self-awareness, using reflection, questioning, clarifying technique, and summarizing. So you guys can read a little bit more in the chapter on those more specifics. And I think that is it. Does anyone have any questions about positive self-projection? All right. So your homework for this week, because you know I was going to give you an assignment for this weekend. I want you to find at least 3 people. Now you guys have a few days to do this, so hopefully you find even more. Find 3 people to talk to and listen. The whole time, I want you to focus on smiling, and I want you to pay attention to what happens to their body language, how they respond to you. Okay, so maybe you're talking to someone who's a little bit upset. And you got to be careful. If you're talking to somebody who's mad and you just have this fake smile on the time, you might upset them a little bit, right? But find 3 people that you're genuinely listening to, that when you have a conversation with them, you're trying to be charismatic. You're trying to make them feel understood and accepted. And you're genuinely listening to them, active listening. But I want you to also be smiling and see what happens to their body language, okay? Because a lot of times, somebody smile. What do you do if somebody smiles at you? What do you do?
Smile.
What's the natural response if you're walking by somebody in the hallway and they smile at you?
Smile back.
You smile back. That's what we do, right? So and what we just said is when you smile, you make yourself happier. We all want to make other people happier, right? So the more people you smile at, you make them smile. If you get them to smile back at you, you just change their day a little bit. You just made them a little bit happier. And who wants to make somebody's day a little bit better? Good. So this is your homework. Raise your hand if you're going to be able to find 3 people over this weekend to talk to, listen to, and smile at. Very good. Good. All right, you guys. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful Thursday. Hopefully I will see you guys all either in class or at the promotion parade. But if not, have a wonderful weekend. Bye, you guys.